Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you just joined us, you're watching Channels Beam and we are looking at Nigeria's success rate in achieving the Millennium Development Goals. Guys, I'll come back to you now to continue from where we stopped before the break.
I'm very worried about the widespread of poverty in Nigeria, and so I think really ending poverty and hunger really is an area that needs to be, tackled headlong. The gap between the rich, the haves and have-nots in Nigeria is so massive that you would start to ask yourself, I mean, is this still the same country? And the look at what most people in government, the kind of lifestyle they live very lavishly, and most cases, what they do is to take money directly from the treasury and fund this lavish lifestyle. These monies are meant for, social projects that would, kind of distribute the resources down to the people lower down the ladder. So I think we should really focus more on projects that distribute the resources. We need to, reduce the gap between the haves and have-nots in our society. I mean, we should invest more in capital projects. There is no country anywhere in the world that grows by spending 74% of its annual budget on recurrent expenditure. I mean, how many people are we even paying this recurrent expenditure? And just like they're not up to 20% of our population. No country grows like that.
Reduction of child mortality is something that I think Nigerian governments should actually consolidate on in terms of achieving this. And looking at environmental sustainability, we were all victims. I'm from the Niger Delta, and we all saw what the havoc of the heavy flood that befell the country last 2-3 years cost us. There's a lot of environmental issues running from erosion, poor road network, which is affecting infrastructure, and so on. So if we don't address environmental issues, I think there's a day we wouldn't have a country to call our own one, Nigeria, call Nigeria, one day. And if we don't look at the rate of child mortality, strengthening primary health care, which I think government still has to do more, is a problem. It also brings into question, for instance, I talk about the environmental sustainability. We talk about the ecological fund. We've been hearing it, ecological fund, ecological fund. How well can we actually quantify what has been done by this ecological fund with the decay of environmental issues that still affect major parts of the country in Nigeria?
I've traveled to some of the most remote places in this country, and you see the farmer there, you see the local worker there has a GSM phone. So that's a powerful tool for them to have used to educate the masses on what they were doing. Because if the people are not aware, then you build this project for them and they just let it go. If they don't own that project, there's no how it's going to go far. So no matter how far, how much they think they've done, because the people were not aware of what they were doing and people could not contribute their own quota and make it work. So I think if you want to get people to participate, as moving from MDGs now to these SDGs, the role of media is something they really need to get a hold of. It's with that proper publicity and education and reaching out with this information to people via media that the people can own this project. And then it can now become not just a government thing or some parastatal somewhere. It will now be a people project, and you will have these things working. So I think a major weakness they had was not taking advantage of the power of media to help them implement this whole project.
Government has to start setting out these priorities in achieving this. And such priority will be, first in my opinion, incorporating the MDG goals in the National Development Plan framework. that should be the starting point. MDG declaration goals, shouldn't just be an entity on its own. If government must exercise political will to achieve it, government should start that by incorporating it in the national development plan of the country. And this is an opportunity for President Muhammadu Buhari, who a lot of international recognitions is actually looking at him and looking up to him with the expectations that he would deliver. So I think he has an opportunity to really prove himself in that area.
A lot of emphasis was placed on the federal and the state government without really getting to the local government level. There's a huge benefit we'll get if this system called local government really gets to work, because the guy comes from probably, because I know some of their projects were commissioned through the House of Assembly, Federal House of Assembly, and then he just comes once in a blue moon and sets up this project in the community, and he really doesn't even know if the people need that project to be done, if there are other things that they need that will benefit them better. Sets up this project. It may be a water well, it may be one community service or the other. And then after 2-3 months, nobody gets to use it again because something is broken there. It doesn't get to work anymore. So I think local government system that was set up and implementing most of these projects will have made a huge made headway with the whole MDG idea.
For any meaningful development projects to be successful, there must be citizenship participation in it. And that has been a great disconnect in Nigeria because, prior to my leaving the country for my postgraduate studies, I discovered there's this mentality in Nigeria, it's a government affair, it's not our affair, And when you take a drift away from Nigeria and you go out, you see that people are constantly, holding government accountable for, delivering on their promise. So I think citizens should start it. It's not late. People should get involved. The more people talk about it in social platforms like this, the more people come out proactively to actually talk about it, talk about this goal. Because I must be very frank with you, if you really go down in the street and ask people, could you just give us the 8 goals, of the Millennium, 8 spelled out objectives of the Millennium Development Goals? Quite a lot of people will tell you they don't know. So you have to first of all know what the policy framework is about for you to actually hold government accountable for not delivering on that promise. Is this declaration a Tea Party jamboree or what? Other countries are delivering. Rwanda is delivering. I gave an instance of Rwanda, which is delivering on the rate of poverty. Considering even the Rwandan genocide, a lot of things that went on in Rwanda prior to 1990. Rwanda was becoming a banana republic of a classical example in Africa, but Rwanda came up on its own. If you look at the poverty ratio, it has dropped. The rate of people living, standard of living, people are gradually crippling up. Look at Tanzania. So why is it that Nigeria, we can't get there? We have everything. We've got the youth who can actually do this. We got people who can actually do it. So my first clarion call to what he is saying is that people should start holding government socially responsible for delivering on their promise. And whatever convention, be it international, be it local, so long as the Nigerian government has committed itself to that project, Nigerian government has a social and moral responsibility to fulfill it. So I think the moment me and you, even no matter where we are, keep talking about it, keep bringing it to the doorstep of government, government will be bound to honor such agreements that they have actually signed.
All right, guys, that's all we can take at this moment on this discussion. It's been a wonderful one, very, very informative, but then that's how we have to wrap it up at this moment. Thank you again for sharing your thoughts and coming on the program. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be joined for more analysis on this very important issue. Please stay with us.